Good morning, everybody. What a fun morning, huh? Wow, thanks for joining for this. We actually committed that the parties were over on Sunday, so we were going to do this a little low-key, but I guess when you have a tower like this, you can't do anything low-key anymore, can we? Right? Well, thank you for joining. We've got a very brief ceremony. And these are some scissors, aren't they? Schechter, the surgeon, wanted to hold them for me. Yeah, he helped me a lot, right? You can see that. Thanks, Larry. No, so why don't we get started? A lot of this is, again, about a thank you and the ribbon cutting officially. We've done so much of that. I do want to point out, again, that in this morning's paper, we published a thank you. So thanks to Teresa Wenta from marketing and her team. And actually, again, I'm going to do some thanks in a minute, but this last week, all of the ceremonies, all of the open houses, kind of our best foot forward, all of that happened. A lot of hard work, but by literally hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of volunteers, but all coordinated by our marketing communications department. So thank you guys for all of it. And I'm just like dangling these things around. These are metal. I want you. Those are. Hey, yeah. Is it still under warranty? I saw Michael Harder's here and Jim Yowen from Mortensen. You didn't see that. Hi, Michael, back there. Okay, so, all right, let's take a second and let's ground ourselves. I'll come back and give you some comments in a second, and then we'll quickly do the official ribbon cutting, and then we'll get you back to work because we actually got some patients in the tower to open, right? So, but let's ground ourselves for a second. I've asked Tim Servin, who's our Vice President of Mission Effectiveness and Spiritual Care, to start us off with a reflection, if we can. Tim?
Okay, so I invite everyone to just find a center and to find and center ourselves in our breath right here and right now. And to remember back 154 years ago. And the bell in the river is reflected as the sisters boarded the ferry from Montreal to the west. It was a thin, mist-covered morning, just like today. They were anxious and they were afraid to leave their home, and they were fearful of this new land. But Mother Joseph of the Sacred Heart wanted a full measure of the adventure that lay ahead of her. She leaned into the wind and moved with purpose and grace. Looking up, she gently caught the reflective glance of the Bishop of Nisqually lingering thoughtfully upon her. Here he was a watchful shepherd, wielding a crook and staff to protect and guide her. He had traveled a long way to Oregon before her, and he had hewn out in the wilderness the rudimentary beginnings of a great spiritual empire which would one day rise up to bless the heart of Christ. This she firmly believed in the spread of that empire. She herself wanted a full and generous part. No present fears nor doubts must ever cast a shadow on that aim. Although I walk in the darksome valley, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. And looking steadily at the bishop, she repeated the words that she had so lately said to Sister Martin. She said, "Let us rejoice on this day which the Lord has made." And when the sisters started the Corporation of the Sisters of Providence in 1873 here in Oregon, in Washington, they named the president of our corporation St. Joseph the Worker. And that is our president today. It still is on the record as the second corporation in Washington history, behind the Burlington Northern Railway. In 1873, a 10-acre plot of land was theirs on which to build. All the intersecting streets were closed to enable them to centralize, just like here. It was a dream come true, the answer to many months of prayer. And the works of the House of Providence had multiplied while the income remained stationary. Naturally speaking, it did take courage to build in a time when the United States at that time was gripped in a depression. 500,000 laborers were idle, and the face of the country was not a happy one. It was all too easy to point those misfortunes and then wince at this venture of treasury which contained only a fourth of the money to see it through. And in 1874, when their building had been occupied, there were many who consider it far too large for practical purposes. However, in 1889, it was already too small to accommodate the works, despite the sizable write-up in the Vancouver Independent. They quoted a gigantic structure, probably the largest brick building in the state of Washington, being 3 stories high and covering about 2 acres of ground. And today, here we stand with this massive structure of steel, of wood, and of brick. And we are asked to remember that we are here for a purpose. For those of us who are here at the blessing, the Archbishop asked God to bless this sacred healing space. And today is our time to bless it with our presence, each of us here. And may this house of Providence reveal God's love to all, especially the poor and the vulnerable. May we answer the call of every patient who comes through our doors to know me. May we answer their call to care for me. And may we answer their call to ease their way. And so we ask in the name of God, our Creator, the God of Providence, who lives and reigns forever, to bless this space with our presence, and bless each of us as we begin this next step with leaning into the wind. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Tim. If I try to clap with these scissors in my hands, it won't be good. All right, well, thanks again. And actually, Tim and I conspired a little bit. So let me tell you a little bit about the story. The journalists, I see the number of cameras here, journalists are here. They always teach you to localize the news, right? So let's localize the news a little bit. So this project, in a lot of ways, for many of us, has really awakening the pioneered spirit of the 4 Sisters of Providence who started the ministry here in Everett in 1905, right? Tim talked about the ministry starting here in the Pacific Northwest at Fort Vancouver, but then they traveled northward and they came to Everett. So the tower, as the largest building project in Providence's 150-year history, we are traveling on territory, new territory, where our founding sisters, I'll bet you they could never have imagined, right? The 3-story building that seemed massive at the time, right? But just as the original Providence sisters believed that Providence would provide, we're experiencing a lot of that provisioning right now, right? In the opening of the magnificent tower that you're all now part of. So think about it for a second. Let's note something. In 1905, those sisters came to Everett and they purchased the Monte Cristo Hotel for $50,000. 105 years later, right, we're opening a $500 million tower. Original sisters started with 3 employees to help them. Now the sisters have 3,500 of us, Providence staff here in Northwest Washington, here in Snohomish County, to help them in carrying on this mission and this ministry. The first year in that renovated hotel, the sisters treated 435 patients. I wouldn't be surprised if today we don't treat 435 patients, right? So we've come a long way, huh? So the original sisters saw a vision for Everett and the surrounding community. That vision still rings true today, right? Changed the words, we've changed the facilities, but the vision and the mission is still there. As people of Providence, we reveal God's love for all, especially the poor and the vulnerable, through our compassionate service. So thank you, every one of you, of what you've done to support our mission through your hard work, through your creative input, a lot of perseverance, right? Strength in building this tower. Truly a day to stand very proud and in awe of what Providence has provided and what you've all made possible. So a special marker in history today, right? June 14th, 2011. A lot of us aren't going to forget this. Should feel thankful. We should feel a lot of pride. We should feel very, very proud of this accomplishment. I think the sisters would be proud, right, Tim? Right. The sisters would be proud. So thank you all. So we're going to cut the ribbon. And I've asked, there you go. Who did that? So I can't have everybody up here. I wish I could, but we can't, even though they're big scissors. I have asked some of the leadership team to come up here ceremonially and help me with these. Afterwards, actually, assuming you all sign an appropriate liability waiver, grab the scissors too and maybe cut a part of the ribbon. We'll cut right here in the center for the photo op. but please take a second if you'd like and join us in the ceremony and do that as well. So you guys come on up. By the way, Kim's the birthday girl, so you come on up for. Hey. Grab a hand. We're gonna do it. You guys ready? Am I following instructions, marketing? Right? Okay, come on, guys. Grab a hand. Let's do it.
Happy birthday. All right. I'm going to put my little piece here.
Go. All right. Do it too. Either way. Who else?
I'm Sue Burkett.
Cut like that valuable was my daughter's ability.
Oh no!
I didn't keep that.
Some people do. Right? Tough. You will. Yep. Come on, Judy.
Didn't know if they're far enough to get it all the way down. Thank you.
All right. Terry, come on. There you go. Thanks for coming in. My pleasure joining us. That was nice. Thank you. Thank you. Come on. You do it? Come on, look.
I'm dangerous.
Yeah, I am. I'm stepping back.
They never let me in the kitchen.
Come on, Sanford.
What's this?
It's a surgeon. We need a surgeon to show us how to... Yeah. Yeah, get that. Yeah.
So what do they do?
That'll be part of my lawsuit. Yeah, just you got it. There you go.
Keep it?
Yeah.
Hi.
See you there.
All right.
All right. Way to go. And again, great job. Check out the ad when you get a chance.
Now I'm telling Phil about the patient.
There we go.
Yep. All right. So we're going to do this.
Project Architects.
All right, here, I'm going to move over here.
I haven't gotten any yet.
It worked.
These are watching your time.
Next week.
Which bars were you?